should have, specifically AI tools for scientific writing and publishing. I would say somewhere around 3 to 5 tools could help you get started. And if I have to pick, say, 5 tools to kind of tide in 2026 to experiment with AI specifically for scientific writing and publishing, I would begin with a literature mapping tool that will help me build literature directionally. That will ensure that I can pick a paper or a handful of papers and then build closely associated literature without much distractions. When I do this, I'm not focusing on stumbling upon serendipity anytime. I'm rather focusing on a set of literature that I have already narrowed down, and I am trying to just build upon them based on their references, citation links, sometimes based on semantics, also based on author networks. So if there are a few tools that I would like to try for 2026, I would say they would include Litmaps, Keenius maybe, Connected Papers, Insightful, and definitely Research Rapid. At stage 2, you might need a tool that helps you with quickly extracting data from multiple papers in a neat literature matrix so that you can quickly compare what is out there in literature, ask overarching questions that are answered not based on 1 or 2 papers but based on multiple papers. Also, to quickly find out very specific information. Say for instance, if I'm trying to identify a research gap, I would like to know what are the limitations that exist across papers, across the timeline, across different studies, so that I can see if there is a way in which I can address this limitation. So for literature matrices, I would definitely try out Elicit, answer this, SciSpace for instance. And then comes the stage where I want to brainstorm ideas, but with several of these writing tools that double up as proofreading tools, which have also imbibed reference management systems into their interfaces. I would like to pick a tool where I can work on one interface right from my brainstorming, creating the basic frameworks, writing my papers, proofreading them, editing them, and then doing some basic checks for journal submission. I think for this, one of the best candidates to have would be Paperpal, but some alternatives I would also try include Trinka and Writeful. Then comes the stage where I have to handle, say, the statistical analysis for quantitative data, or I'll have to prepare visualized data or other images that go along with my textual content. When it comes to statistical analysis, of course, working on my Python skills, R skills, and getting on board with SPSS could be a great start. But if that is not for me, if I'm not at that point right now, I would start with Julius, experimenting the AI interface where I can kind of communicate with the tool through natural language that gets converted into Python code, for instance, and I can both analyze my data as well as visualize it to a certain extent. And when it comes to imaging, depending on which field you're from, if you're from, say, biomedical sciences, health sciences, life sciences, and all the allied fields around that, there is nothing like BioRender. A good alternative could be MindTheGraph, for instance. But if I'm looking for more basic diagrams like frameworks, flowcharts, or all of these directional images, I would try out this tool called eDrawMax, for instance. The final requirement comes in the form of reference management. If I do not have a writing tool which has reference management inbuilt into the tool, then I would still rely on robust, traditional, but then very useful and free to use reference managers like Mendeley and Zotero. If I have not yet picked a reference manager, then maybe I'll pick out Zotero, because it is not just free to use, it is also an open source tool, because of which Zotero has been incorporated, directly linked into several of these AI tools like Litmap, SciSpace, and so on, which makes it pretty easier to migrate literature from these tools into Zotero and in the other direction as well. I hope this really helps. Happy 2026 to all of you.